And the police state ends with me. And we've made it one more day. Folks, today I'm going to show you how the Bartlesville Police, and especially Anthony Lynn, the lying president of the Fraternal Order of Police in Bartlesville, and a Bartlesville police officer, apparently discussed their action to remove me as a candidate for Bartlesville City Council before this YouTube channel and Facebook page even existed. Before my home was raided on March the 6th, 2015. In fact, just as we've discussed all along, the decision was made to do this, to come after me by the Bartlesville Police, just shortly after I began campaigning for Bartlesville City Council back in November 2014. Again, today we are going to listen to a podcast by the group known as Law Enforcement and Supporters for Media Accountability. They call themselves LESMA, and that's how I will refer to them from here on out, LESMA. If you haven't watched the video titled Bartlesville Police Go After Ex-City Council Member, then please watch that video before watching this video. Now folks, in case the podcast is ever taken down, I'm going to give you the exact quote from the podcast verbally myself as well. And I didn't do that in the other video, but this time I'm going to give you the exact quote. Now if I get the quote wrong, message me and I'll fix it. But I'm going to get the exact quote, and I'm going to say that to you. But the time you can listen to in the podcast down in the description below, the quote I'm going to give you and a bit more information is if you listen to the time 14 minutes and 45 seconds to 16 minutes. Again, 14 minutes and 45 seconds to 16 minutes. Down in the description below, click on that podcast and you'll be able to listen to the actual statements. So please listen to the entire podcast if you can make the time. It is 1.5 hours long. Now, many things he says about me are completely false. And the most important part of the podcast is, again, 14 minutes, 45 seconds to 16 minutes into the podcast, and it is this. Quote, "Now, he has dropped an application or whatever their process is for these elections. However, with that being said, I think the town had decided, hey, we are going to bypass this clown and we'll put this one in." At this point, that's the end of the quote. At this point, and you can listen to it in the podcast, at this point another podcaster breaks in and interrupts in a way that appears to be a way of shutting the other podcaster up, appearing to realize he just verbally acknowledged a serious crime, realizing he just stated that allegedly Anthony Lynn, the only person the podcaster had apparently been in contact with at the Fraternal Order of Police in Bartlesville, that allegedly Anthony Lynn told the podcaster that there was a decision to remove me as a candidate from Bartlesville City Council to, quote, bypass this clown, end quote, right after they found out I was running for Bartlesville City Council. I'd never filed anything or applied to be appointed either, just told the Washington County Election Board I would be campaigning, and I did begin campaigning for the November 16th election for Bartlesville City Council. Now, if this isn't making sense yet, I'm going to go into more detail. I started campaigning in early November. I started campaigning in early November 2014, and a few weeks later, I noticed things disappearing on my property, trespassing, boots and full-grown men's boots, footprints around my house in the dirt where I'd been doing landscaping, and damage to my fences and such. And this was months before the March 6, 2015 raid on my home, as I was apparently being investigated by the Bartlesville Police for the only reason of trying to remove me as a candidate for Bartlesville City Council, looking for anything they could pin on me, absolutely framing me. And please note, I didn't begin this Facebook and YouTube channel until approximately August 16th, 2015, after many months of trying to get my complaints heard through the authorities, which the complaints have been ignored. And if you go back, I've made complaints to the city council, to my own city council member, to the Bartlesville Police Department officially, and others. There is so much information on what actually occurred that the only way to get it fully, because you can't do it in one video, is to watch the first 20 videos posted to my YouTube channel, The Police State Ends With Me. By watching them, all this is even better understood by you. But please do remember, I've never been in trouble in my 43 years. I have absolutely no criminal record, no arrests, not even a speeding ticket in over 20 years, and I'd never had encounters like this with any Bartlesville police officers before these events. And I've lived in Bartlesville longer than any place I've lived in my adult life. So it's not like I haven't been here. But magically, just right after I go down to the Washington County Election Board and announce that I'm going to start campaigning, and do start campaigning, then all of a sudden I'm under investigation and all this is occurring. And we've got this podcaster saying that the city made a decision to remove me as a candidate back then, but that's against the law. I mean, the decision to remove a candidate is up to the voters, which would have happened in November of 2016. It's not up to the current elected officials in the city of Bartlesville or Mike Moore and James Braslett at James Phillips Medical Center, former employers that don't like me, that don't want me running for city council. It's not up to them. I mean, apparently it is. But what they do is they say, well, we don't want him running for city council, so we'll put the police on him. And at a minimum, what they'll do is defame me to the point where no one will trust me and no one will vote for me. And at a maximum, we'll just put his butt in prison. But it could go further than that, the maximum. Them coming down here under the color of law with guns like that put my life at risk. So a quick summary. So why did they want me removed from running for city council? When I say they, I mean all those people involved. From the city to the Bartlesville Police to apparently the judge. I mean, all these elected officials and all these high, big wig, powerful people, wealthy and well-connected people in corporations in Bartlesville. Why did these people want this? Well, because Mike Moore and James Braslett of James Phillips Medical Center leadership wanted that. Again, the first 20 videos explain most of this. I'd encourage you to watch all of them, but at least try to watch the first 20 to get a grasp of this. It is clear, it is proven now. There's no more ambiguity, and anyone trying to play that game is just not being objective. So when the Lesma podcaster states, quote, now he has dropped an application or whatever their process is for these elections, end quote, what he meant, as Anthony Lynn allegedly told the podcaster, is this replay from the video I posted to YouTube on approximately August 19th, 2015, and the title of the video is What Happened? More Details 2. That's video 2 of 5 videos that are the details videos. Again, it's What Happened? More Details 2. So here's a replay of a portion of that video, the important portion of that video. I'll give it to you now. Back in August of 2014, I decided to run for Bartlesville City Council in Ward 4. This also is the same ward that my former employer sits in. I didn't think much about it at the time. I didn't think much would come of that, if anything, but I was wrong. I didn't want to just throw my name on a ballot and hope for the best. Even though this is a very small town, people sometimes can do that. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to campaign grassroots, door to door, and really go out and get out to know the people in my ward and let them get to know me. So I decided to run in November 2016 instead of in November 2014, which had I way back when put my name on the ballot, I could have. And I wanted to go by every person's house in the ward, hopefully twice, up until the next election. I made a short little pamphlet with my email and at the bottom, and so anyone can contact me if they have any questions about my candidacy or background and so forth. I wanted to make sure I followed all the election board rules and such, so I went down to the Washington County Election Board on Wednesday, November 5th, 2014, the day after the 2014 elections, at about 2:30 p.m. and sat down and discussed how I plan to go door to door over the next 2 years campaigning. Asked if there was anything I needed to know other than reading the city charter, and since I'd not be taking any campaign contributions from any person or corporation, that wouldn't be an issue. I was told that I was good to go, so that following Saturday I began going out door to door, both Saturdays and Sundays, weather permitting. Remember, it was pushing up on winter. And to date, I've handed out about 1,000 pamphlets. Okay. After this meeting I had with the Washington County Election Board, that is apparently when Mike Moore and James Brazel and others from Jane Phillips Medical Center put the plan into place, and the Bartlesville Police and Jane Phillips Medical Center leadership, and apparently even some of the Bartlesville City Council, as well as district attorneys, judges, and others, decided to utilize the Bartlesville Police to fraudulently investigate me, frame me, and all the videos, especially the first 20 posted to YouTube, explain all that happened. Folks, these are enormous crimes against our democracy, our rule of law, our Constitution, civil and human rights. These are federal breaches of law, using the color of law to do political bidding, using the lethal arm of the government, the police, and it is the utmost corruption. Now, this even goes now across state lines. Communicating by phone over state lines creates, I believe that's a wire fraud. Discussing this with Anthony Lynn, allegedly discussing this with LESMA. Anthony Lynn is sitting in Oklahoma at LESMA, apparently being in New York, as that is where their phone number area code is from. So these breaches of law go across state lines. So this is a Oklahoma breach. It is also a federal breach. And I mean, I can't stress that enough, how unbelievably of an affront this is on our democracy, and it is a crime. Now, I will be taking this back to the media with this new information, this podcast, and this detail to several media sources, and I will come back with another video detailing those communications in the future. Folks, if this is allowed to stand, if these people aren't stopped and punished for this affront to democracy and our free and fair elections, then this is the template for police to be used to go after political candidates they don't like, and or at the behest of corporations like Mike Moore and James Brazel at Jane Phillips Medical Center leadership. This is the creating of the very definition of a police state. That is not hyperbole. If they get away with this, and by they I mean all those people I've mentioned, and all those, the corporation and the government and these people, if they get away with this, it becomes the template. And if they can get away with it, it means that it's a precedent, and it becomes allowable to do anywhere in this country, completely ending our democracy and instating the type of fascism we have now in Bartlesville, Oklahoma, and Washington County, Oklahoma. It must stop right now, and it must be addressed. So, media, information is coming your way, and the public should expect swift and appropriate remedies to these terrible crimes. However, folks, don't get your hopes up, because no one so far in the media has cared about this. I mean, we've had a couple of reports that have been very benign, and that's about it. So we'll keep trying, but don't get your hopes up. Sorry to end on a negative tone, but it is what it is. It's realism. If you know a responsible reporter that cares about real reporting and our democracy and our country, please share this and other videos with them. The police state ends with me. And with that said, I'll see you tomorrow.